All right. Welcome once again, guys, to Excape Podcast. This is Excape, or you can call me Paul by my real name. Welcome to episode 3 of our podcast. And today's podcast, I am honored and very fortunate to have this guest that we will be interviewing for today. And to introduce my guest for today, and he is a friend of mine, and we know each other for a couple of years as we are both members of an
So,
international organization before. It's called Postmasters. So I know this guy personally, and I've seen him, and he's a very good guy, kind, and very enjoyable to be with. And just to give you a brief background on what he does in terms of profession and other activities, he is a market developer. He is a strategic thinker. He is a Division C humorous speech champion, and he is also a member of numerous Toastmasters Club and has achieved the Distinguished Toastmasters Award twice in a row. Wow, that's a very amazing feat. He is also a regional sales head for more than 16 years, one of the modern Mason founding officer here in the Visayas under the Grand Lodge of Modern Mixed Masons in the UK. So without further ado, guys, please help me welcome my guest for today's podcast, Sir James Sahulia. Welcome
good
to the
morning,
podcast, sir.
Paul. Good to see you again. It's been a long time.
Yes,
Haven't seen you face to face, and it's good that we are now interacting through the use of Zoom.
mm-hmm,
Before I will
yes,
start, let me just make a disclaimer.
mm-hmm,
All of
okay,
my explanations or answers are not in any way related to or representing our lodge. It's my personal opinion as a Mason,
mm-hmm,
and in no way it's a representation of the order, especially for modern mixed Mason, which I belong, and Freemason in general. So this is just my personal opinion as a Mason because as Masons, there's so much information going on, especially you can research Freemasonry in the internet. There are a lot of books.
mm-hmm,
So there are probably numerous informations that one would be able to read in especially in the internet. That's the reason why I'm making this disclaimer.
mm-hmm. All right, no problem, Sir James. Thank you so much for having mentioned that disclaimer. So again, guys, so this podcast interview will be in the perspective of Sir James' opinion. And right, Sir James.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's start with the question. So what is the modern mixed Mason, Sir James?
Well, modern mixed Mason is actually there are actually two sectors now in Freemason. One is the purely men. The other
Mm-hmm.
one is mixed, which is both men and women. This order started way back before in 2014 when some of the members or some of the high-ranking officials in our order wanted to include their wives in this particular order since it's dear to them, and I think it's proper for them to include passion in learning Freemasonry
Mm-hmm.
through giving the avenue to their wives. That's the reason why this Modern Mixed Mason was founded in 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And then we have our order based in United Kingdom. So we are
Mm-hmm.
actually a Grand Lodge. So we have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of orders now, or Modern Mixed Mason orders in the Philippines. We have actually 6 in Manila
Mm-hmm.
or Luzon. We have two in Cebu,
Okay.
and I'm one of the founding members for the Mother Lodge, and we are looking up growing the order in Mindanao as well as in Visayas.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking at probably increasing our lodge to maybe 3 to 4
Mm-hmm.
this year or probably next year also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have, as the some or other people have got into the internet and all the information about Freemasons. There are a lot of information, as you mentioned.
Mm.
So there's this one, the mixed modern mixed Masons is a different kind of the Freemasons, as you said. So without
Yes.
going into too deep into the Freemasons information, what can you tell us in a brief or just shallow? What is a Freemason? So when you say uh, you're a member of a Freemason, or what is for the common people, like what can they know about if they see a person that is a Freemason? So what is a Freemason in not too deep explanations? Like someone will ask you, what is Freemason? What's your common answer to that
Well,
question?
the general term, just to give you an overview, what is Freemason? It started way back in 17th century.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually started. It actually started in an operative mason before, when there were stone masons who built the cathedrals,
Mm-hmm.
and they were forming an organization just to safekeep their pool of talents, the security in terms of tenure. So that's the reason why it was organized. And then from then, went to speculative mason. So members who are not stone mason are allowed to join in the guild before. And then it multiplied. Most of the members before were prominent uh, members in the society, like
Mm-hmm.
king, the queen, the
Mm-hmm.
king, the prince, the duke
Mm-hmm.
of Edinburgh is our member as well. He's
Mm-hmm.
actually our Grand Lodge Grandmaster
Okay.
for United Grand Lodge of England. He just passed away just this year. Well, it actually boils down to the principles, whether mixed Mason or I would say Freemason in general, boils down in practicing the grand principles of Freemason, which is brotherly love, relief, and truth.
Mm-hmm.
Brotherly love is it's all times required that you respect your brothers as a real brother in
Mm-hmm.
Freemasonry, or you embrace him with love and affection, and you guide him on his way to become a better person. For relief, it is an utmost requirement that you help your brother who is in stress. So that's one of the primary obligation of a Mason. And we also provide charity works. That's our main focus.
Mm-hmm.
We do provide charity works through giving outreach program in certain barangays that needed help, or we viewed this barangay as one that we will be giving charity works.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or a lot of programs that would be considered as charity. We are actually programming that here in our lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that is truth. So very important for one is to find out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the grand principles of Freemasonry: brotherly love, relief, and truth.
And truth. Okay. All right. So so those are the three things that will
Yeah.
that you will answer if some
That
person will
actually
ask.
defines Freemasonry from other fraternity in general, because these are the grand principles that we embrace.
Mhm.
Other organizations of fraternity have their own principles. So ours boils down to brotherly love, relief, and truth.
Hmm. Okay. So, Sir James, how long have you been a member of the modern mixed Masons?
Mason, yes. I remember it right. I wanted to join the ancient order, or I mean the modern mixed Mason. I
Mm-hmm.
mean the Freemasonry in general in 2002
Mm-hmm.
when I was still assigned in Iloilo. But there were deterrents during my 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 petitioner stage. One is the petitioner fee was quite expensive. It was
Mm-hmm.
probably around 30,000 at that time. That's one of the deterrents that hinders my application. Second is most of the members are prominent businessmen
Mm-hmm.
in Iloilo. So one of the factors that probably I was in a dilemma to join.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly is I was being scheduled to be reassigned in Cebu. So that's one of the factors that I was not able to really uh, proceed with my petitioner stage in the Freemason in Iloilo. So in 2000, no, probably last year,
Mm-hmm.
I was acquainted with this group,
Mm-hmm.
Modern Mixed Mason, and I became the Master Mason just last 2 months ago. I
Mm-hmm.
joined the order December of 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So you're really, really new, but as a founding officer. But the one that you mentioned about in the Iloilo, sir, is the not the modern mixed Mason. It's the
Yeah, they're actually the mainstream masonry. They have been in this country for 100 years.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they are composed mostly of men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Not composed. They're composed of men
of men only.
only.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, the modern mixed Masons that you have founded, one of the founding officers, is pretty new to the Freemason. Is it only located in
But
the
100
Philippines?
years ago, come again?
Is it only located in the Philippines, the modern mixed Mason uh, order?
Actually, this is all over. There's actually a a population for modern for I would say co-masonry.
Mm-hmm.
This is I'm referring to men and women. We have a large number in the US,
Okay.
and we have amity with them. We have in France, we have in United Kingdom, in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually spread all over the continent.
Okay.
Just so happened that it entered the Philippines last 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it
And
started
we
last two
were
years
just
ago.
fortunate that we were one of the founding members, at the same time officers of this order.
All right. Okay. So who introduced you first to the Freemason? So did you discover it by your own, or did someone like introduce to you the Freemason disorder?
Yeah. Actually, it happened when I joined the fraternal order of Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
Philippine Eagles.
Okay.
So I was one of the chartered officer there. I was the secretary and the IO officer. Just so happened that one of the founding members went into organizing a group or lodge for modern mixed mason in Cebu, and we were petitioners back then. So he was also our kuya from the fraternal order of Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So it linked us from fraternal order of Eagles to modern mixed mason.
Mm-hmm. I see.
That's the reason I was one of the founding members.
Mm-hmm. So with that, so when you were like introduced to the Freemason, so what made you think, or what made you decide like you're interested to join the Freemason, if not the Freemason of the, what do you call that, the not the modern mixed one? So what
The
did
mainstream.
you
I refer to the
hear?
mainstream.
Yeah, what did you hear about the Freemason? Like, why did you want to join?
Well, one thing good about uh, the modern mixed mason is, number one, it jives into my personality because
Mhm.
I'm a digital person.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm a tech person, and I'm into modern principles,
Okay.
like uh, like principles that goes beyond the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about this Freemasonry in general is goes beyond what is current. Like for
Mm-hmm.
instance, we have Lady Mason. It's not supposed to be I mean, that is not common here in the lodge all over the Philippines, the Grand Lodge of the Philippines. So there's no way that a lady can be a Mason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In our lodge, we respect the gender.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why, well, as a gender supportive
Mm-hmm.
uh, person, I respect that, and that's the reason why I was encouraged to really participate and become knock and then become petitioner of this modern mixed mason.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So that encouraged me. At the same time, the principles, that tenets, the grand principles that it embodied, the brotherly love, belief, and truth. Because this is the only order, I suppose, wherein you will become brothers for lifetime.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Brothers and sisters, actually, for lifetime.
So, is there any requirement, like for the, speaking of the modern mixed mason, is there any requirements to join? So we have removed the only male, so we can have
Basically, there
female.
are actually 5 requirements for one
Mm-hmm.
to join. One is just, second is upright,
Mm-hmm.
free men of mature age, sound judgment, and strict morals. These are the 5 requisites
Mm-hmm.
that needs one to become a petitioner. Other than that, there's two main requisites.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in the divine God, there's one supreme being, and the immortality of the soul. So if you have this, you can be a petitioner for our lodge. All you have to do is knock. Ask a mason, become one.
I see. So you have to have so there's like a sponsorship or something. It's like you have
It's
to
more
have.
or less, you will be vouched by one particular person or one particular master mason.
Okay. So he has to be a master mason for you to be like vouch.
Yes.
Like this person has the 5 what do you call that, traits?
Yes. He needs to vouch you that you have that character
Mm-hmm.
and the potential to become a member of our Mother Mixed Mason Lodge.
Mm-hmm. I see. So I also have heard or read in the internet, sir, that the Grand Lodge was supposed to be a secret society or a secret order. Is that well now I think it's no longer a secret, but for you, what was is that true, or was it really the intention to have a secret society in the first place, where the original Freemasons were not to branch out the modern mixed one? Is it like intentional that they have kept it secret about the Freemason society?
Well, actually, we are not a secret society, but we are a society full of secrets.
Okay.
The reason why we're doing that is because of our roots before.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on my studies, stonemasons before were actually are sought after
Okay.
in building cathedrals, in building monuments, great monuments. So what they did is they wanted to organize, it's like a security
Mm-hmm.
for them to know one by creating a sort of secret language
Mm-hmm.
for them to know that you are a Mason through brief token and a password.
Okay.
So this is for one to know one is a particular Mason
Mm-hmm.
and to protect their interests in general. So that's the reason why they're creating. It becomes the secret society. It's not a society, but it's not a secret society. We just wanted to protect our interests because if knowing the rights, knowing the rights or the knowledge will make one a better person.
Mm-hmm.
If the person is a rightful candidate, worse, if he's not the rightful candidate, will become a worse person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why we're protecting the interest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, so it's more of like a, well, we can not really compare, but we can maybe see it like a fraternity because it has a
Yeah.
brotherly love, right?
Most of the fraternities have their own secrets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what we did was just protect our interest
Mm-hmm.
so that we'll know who are our real brothers or not. Because as of the moment, because it's a worldwide organization, it's very popular. Most people pretended that they are Masons, but they are actually not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why our secret, we need to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rituals, you are not allowed to divulge what's in the ritual. It's a no-no. You will be, once you protect or once you divulge what's happening in the ritual, there's likelihood that you will be removed as a Mason
Mm-hmm. Okay.
once found out that you are guilty of doing that.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like the Freemason or the modern mixed Mason. It's not like a religion or a doctrine, would you say?
Well, we are religious people actually
Mm-hmm.
because we believe in one supreme God. We cannot start even we start our ceremonies with a prayer and close it with a prayer, and we cannot do so without the volume of sacred laws. What are these volume of sacred laws?
Mm-hmm.
These are Bibles of different religion. Number one is the Bible of the Christians. If we have a member of Muslim member, we have a Bible for him, that's Quran. If we have a Jewish member, needs to have one. We call them as the volume of sacred law. We cannot operate or we cannot open a lodge without that volume of sacred law. That's number one requirement.
Okay, so it's
as I said, we are not a religion, but we are a religious person. The reason why we're doing that is because we wanted to become better in terms of morality aspects and spiritual one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in connection with that, sir, so there's no requirement whether you have to be a Christian or you have to be a Muslim to be able to join or whatever. All you have to do is all you have to possess is the 5 traits. And then what about if someone joins that type really religious, like not really welcoming with the other religion, so he automatically or she does automatically is not going to be vouched? Like, is there a...
Well, there's a stage actually. One is you will have to ask one to know one for you to become a petitioner. So during that stage, you will be properly evaluated, and then you will be balloted by the members, existing members of the lodge, for them to find out who you are and to know your personal and your personal behavior in or outside the community. So if there's one that will negate you to become a petitioner, then automatically your application will be declined. Well, going back to your question, if that person fits on another religion, then he cannot probably join our order, because it's a must that you embrace universal faith in our order, be it Christian, be it Muslim, be it Jew.
Okay,
That's it.
I see. Okay, so for a Freemason, like example, if I become a member of the Freemasons, what are the benefits for me other than having a brotherly fraternity or having a group? Like, if I'm a common person, like I'm just curious on the Freemason society or the order, and then I would ask myself, what do I get, or what are the benefits a person can have when you join the Freemasons, other than having a group of fraternity members or brotherly members?
Well, I will have to be brutally frank with you. There's no
With also
benefit.
also not with me, and also with the listeners too.
Yeah, and for the listeners as well, I'll have to be brutally frank. There's actually no benefit other than becoming a better person in terms of moral and spiritual conduct. Here in Masonry in general, we usually spend for charity. So money is going out because we believe that when we give, we receive 100-fold. So that's actually a divine investment. We're looking at it in a divine investment perspective, wherein we are secured in trouble because of our belief that when we love our brothers, we love him as well.
So it's a wrong thinking. It's a wrong notion that a person will join. He is a or she is a member of the Freemason because he got a benefit or something by joining.
True.
It's wrong to think that the Freemason. Because he's a Freemason, that's why he has a lot of success like that one. So it's not like that, where he got.
Well, one of the mistakes of people joining Freemasonry is that they wanted to join out of networking, to do business. It's never gonna happen because normally people will only help you, or your brother will only help you if you are in distress. Meaning, if you have nothing, that's a requirement. But if you're not, then you will have to provide a means for your charity in every lives to progress in general. So you will have to spend out huge money for charity works in your own pocket to help your brethren in general. So this is what Freemasonry is all about, and even other civic organizations as well. That's the reason why they're founded, due to the fact that they wanted to serve the people. Same as with Freemasonry in general.
I see. Okay, so it's the other way around. So no, if you joined, it's the other way around. It's not that you receive something out from the Freemason
in fact,
group.
Joining, just not to discourage you, but in fact, joining the Freemason is a bit expensive, especially if you are wanting to become a Master Mason. Well, due to the fact that you will have to to pay the petitioner's fee.
Mhm.
And for mainstream Mason, it's a bit expensive.
Mhm.
So if I remember it right, when I wanted to knock in 2002, the petitioner's fee that time was around 30,000.
Very.
That's 2002.
Mhm.
So probably now that will be probably around 60,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
But in our order, we wanted to make it a minimal amount. In our order, we're just asking our petitioner to pay to expense
Mhm.
an amount of around 10,000 as
Mhm.
petitioner's fee.
Mhm. Mhm. I see. All right. So how do you address each other, sir? When you have like, do you have a weekly
That's a good question.
gathering, or just like at the Toastmasters organization, we have a weekly, or we have a scheduled gathering. So for a Freemason, the modern mixed one, do you have a scheduled or organized gathering to meet? And how do you address each other? Do you have any like formal standard addressing of each member?
Well, standards for mainstream Mason, they address each other by the name Kuyang.
Say again.
That's the mainstream. Kuyang.
Kuyang.
Kuyang. With
Okay,
an
okay.
NG.
Okay.
In our case, since we are an English order, we address each other as brothers and sisters, bro or sis.
Okay.
Affects to that is the norm. We call norm
Mhm.
for Grand Lodge officer, right worshipful brother, most worshipful brother.
Mhm.
So it's actually like a norm for distinguished Toastmaster James
I see.
Lahulia.
Okay, okay.
So
It's similar.
if you are occupying a high position like worshipful master or like a grand officer,
Mhm.
most of the grand officers, they have that distinction,
Okay.
worshipful or most worshipful.
Okay. So example, I would address you, Brother James Worship
Sahulia.
Tahu- Brother James Tahulia, and then after that the norm. The,
No, actually, it's uh, the accomplishment, right worshipful brother, and then if you are grand inspector, then grand inspector, bro, grand inspector, so on so.
okay, okay. Okay. So just like that. Okay.
That's how we acknowledge. But in general, we usually call each other brothers, bro or sis.
All right. How about the gathering, sir? Do you have any uh does it have any scheduled gathering, or like
Yes,
the,
we usually have scheduled gatherings. Like for instance, in our case, we usually have once a month gathering.
Mhm, mhm.
Usually fall on the third Sunday of the month. Not like in Toastmasters, twice uh, sessions for every month. Here we only have one meeting a month, but there are special meetings that will be announced by a messenger that we will have special meetings, especially in forming lodges,
Mhm.
meetings for charity works, meetings for other operational matters. These are called upon by our worshipful master or our president of the lodge.
Mhm. And most.
So
Mhm.
these are just special meetings. We normally have this, so once in a month, that is the regular meeting. Special meetings may be done
Mhm.
based on the requirement or based on the call of our worship master.
Mhm. So when you have or gather, is it uh aside from the forming of a new lodge or branching out? So do you also agree on a specific charity work, where like do you like say to the group like, hey, I want to do this charity, does anyone want to join? Does it have anything like that, or is it like on your own
There's
just do it.
actually a procedure in our lodge. We normally have business meetings first before our uh, agenda for Freemasonry. So business meeting first, and then the ritual follows that.
So for the charity work, what ranges is it? Like, does it have just feeding program? How big is the charity work that Freemason Society can do? Or what example?
Actually, it is upon the proposal of each brother or sisters.
Okay.
One would particularly propose a project, like for instance, CRs or utility. If you call it for a particular bagay, then that's where it's being approved by the feed. Then it becomes our charity works. But for feed, if one would propose feeding program, then it becomes a charity work once approved by the body. So it has to be voted upon first during the business meeting. And this proposal will be consolidated and then will be taken in consideration during the business meetings and approved and voted upon. And then after once it's budget will be implemented. So we'll be asking each members to support us in the charity works by providing their own monetary access to facilitate the project in general.
How about, sir, disaster, like disaster relief? Do you also participate?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. It is actually, if it depends on when a member raise a proposal, we will have to have our own disaster relief program. Well, if majority consider that, because we are free thinkers in general, we will do so once it's being approved by the members of the lodge. But only those mastermen can vote.
Okay, I see. So this one, sir, is a bit controversial question coming next, but just to clear out things. So because I read in the internet or listened to the internet through YouTube and other sources, so sometimes people connect the Freemasons with the other so-called secret society called the Illuminati. If you have heard of it, or if there are, I heard about it in the internet. So what can you say, or is there any connection to the Freemason lodge and also this so-called Illuminati, if it is, or that is said to control the world affairs? So what can you say about that, sir, of the of that? Is there any connection with the so-called Illuminati group? If it,
Well, there's actually no connection in general. To be honest with just so that one of the founders of the Illuminati that I've read is also a Mason. He adopted the concept and did his own lodge. The reason for this was probably out of option from the existing Freemasonry in general.
I see. Okay.
Because
So
most of the members before were founding members. The United States were founding fathers of Freemasonry. So normally it's like this, all it would arise, especially if it's fame and fortune we're looking into.
yeah. So there, for the record, there's no connection with the Illuminati, the so-called Illuminati and the Freemasons. So there's no connection.
No connection at all.
All right.
Only they do that just for internet purposes.
All right. Okay. Okay. So we are about to, we're almost about to enter, James. Okay. So, but before that, what is your message?
Well, to answer your last question, if you want to know more about Freemasonry and life in general, ask one, to know one, and become one. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find it. Knock, the door will be open to you. Matthew 7:7. There is one requirement though. You need to believe in one supreme being and the immortality of the soul. And of course, it is a must that you need to respect gender equality because we are modern mixed Mason. Who are fit to join are just, upright, free men of mature age with strict morals and sound judgment. Once you all have these requirements, now you're ready to embark on your wonderful, fun-filled learning and journey of a lifetime. Education, harmony, and enjoyment is of paramount importance in this order, and nothing shall distort that. We offer a lot of fun-filled learning and educations through side degrees and allied degrees once you become a Master Mason. It's a never-ending quest because in Masonry we always seek knowledge. We are also taught on how to be on the level with everyone, squaring your actions within your bonds with the guidance of the Supreme Being. And you learn virtues in each ritual when applied will make you a better person. In Freemasonry, we say, make good men better. Now, encourage everyone. You want to live a life of fulfillment. Become one, because this is what this order is all about. And in closing, let me borrow the words of Dr. David Staples, the Grand Secretary and the CEO of United Grand Lads of England, and he said, and I quote, "You only have one life to live. Live it well and be remembered with the right reasons." Hope to see you in your Masonic journey.
All right, guys. So there you have it. That was Sir James Zahulia, a member of the Modern Mixed Freemason Lodge Society. And I hope you learned a lot of information about what it is to become a Freemason and how or what principles do they operate when you become a member of the Freemason Society. And it's not bad, as some say. So they are actually good people who is operating based on charity, brotherly love, and the truth. So, as what James said, they are not a secret society, but they are a society that have secrets. And there you have it, folks. And I would like to thank Sir James Ahulio for sharing his time with me and allowing me to interview him about questions on about Freemasons. And thank you so much, sir, for spending your time with me. So, guys, I hope to see you again next time on my other future podcast episodes here at Escape TV. And this has been Paul or Excape, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye.